The Mummy's Curse. This is another one of these mummy movies, and we watched it. The Mummy's Curse has another Tana Leaves priest guy that wears a fez. But this time he has an assistant that kills people for him, but for some reason he still insists on having a 3,000-year-old mummy kill people for him, who again hobbles around strangling people while looking for his ancient love, the Princess Ananka, who is at this point the resurrected, reincarnated teenage form of the princess, if you're keeping up with this bullshit. Magically made beautiful again, not by the power of the almighty Amun-Ra, but by the Hollywood producers who wanted a fresh babe to molest. Kharis eventually catches up to her, taking her to the secret hideout of the Fez priest guy, but then they break new ground when instead of the priest suddenly wanting to get with an American girl out of nowhere, the assistant guy wants to get with the American girl out of nowhere, which the priest has a problem with for the first time ever. So the assistant kills the Fez priest and then he dies, and then Kharis kills the assistant via cave-in and then they both die, and then it turns out that Fez priest had already given Ananka tana fluid, so she's dead too, even though tana fluid is the key to immortality. And so I'm at the point with these f***ing mummy movies where I just want someone to kill me so then I'll die.
You got one thing wrong in there. He's not mad because he molested her. He's mad because he brought her there.
Same thing. It's
Not
like
the
his vow was he would keep it secret, and it's
yeah,
like
and then he brings her there, and then he gets
her.
grapey, and then it's like, what's going on?
Save him from any temptation that might destroy him, as it nearly destroyed me.
It's another broken vow from sexual temptation again.
Protect me in this my hour of temptation.
You will swear to the ancient gods of Egypt that you will not betray your trust.
Where's Dr. Halsey, Rugged?
He is not here.
But you told me he was...
This monastery has been abandoned for nearly 100 years.
Ragab! The curse of Amun-Ra upon you, Ragab.
Dr. Zandar, those robes, you're...
The High Priest of Arkham. Your tongue shall be torn from your mouth for the vows you have sworn to, falsely.
Master, I am but flesh and blood.
The motivation, it's everything's stupid. Everything's stupid. I'm so tired of these fucking mummy movies. Just give me something new to give it an ounce of credit. It's like a little new, but where was this 10 movies ago?
Yeah. Okay. So, The Mummy's Curse is the last of the Mummy series, at least the main series, and was originally going to be titled The Mummy Returns. According to actress Virginia Christine, who plays Princess Ananka, she said she was worried for her life because Chaney was drunk and stoned most of the picture. There's one scene where she is harnessed to Chaney as he carries her through the woods. She feared what would happen if he fell hobbling around. Luckily, director Leslie Goodwins replaced him with a stand-in in that particular scene. That guy, man, that Lon Chaney.
Wow.
Apparently, the Kharis mask in this film is the only surviving piece of makeup from the legendary Jack Pierce. And once again, we see footage from The Mummy and The Mummy's Hand being reused, where we see actor Tom Tyler and Boris Karloff. Returning for the final time as The Mummy is Lon Chaney Jr. We also have Holmes Hubert, who was last seen in Ghost of Frankenstein and The Invisible Man.
And Agent as well, yeah. And don't forget, our final Fez priest guy was Peter Coe, the dude Dracula almost cucked in House of Frankie.
Ah, there is something I could really use. I wonder where I could get one.
What for?
Just a thing to keep your wife under control.
With that, I think the Tana leaf fluid has all but dried up for this Mummy series.
Thank God. Everything's running together in my mind. Everything. Like, all the movies run together, our discussions run together. If I repeat I will probably repeat myself, because I'm just like, the Tana Leaves thing was cute for a bit. And they act as if, I wasn't there in the 40s. Was this the most incredible film series ever, to where they were like, we just got to keep repeating this. We got a good thing going. We just got to keep repeating this Tana fluid thing every time. It just works. It just makes numbers every time. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, give it a rest. You have an infinite amount of storylines that you could do attached to this idea of just a crusty old guy walking around murdering people. and you just keep doing this stupid tana leaf things. He does the same thing where he takes 20 minutes to recap the first movie, and then, technically the recap of the opening of the second movie. Again, everything's confused.
For over 3,000 years, Kharis remained in his cave on the other side of the mountain, waiting to bring death to him who would desecrate Ananka's tomb. For Kharis really never died.
Then why, Master, is he here in America?
An American archaeologist seeking the tomb of Princess Ananka by accident came upon and dared to desecrate the burial place of Kharis. Kharis desired to carry his Princess Ananka back with him, but non-believing infidels have driven them into these swamps.
And then some Americans came, and in the second movie, they stole Ananka, and then we had to send Kharis, and 2 times, in two separate priests over 2 different movies, tried to do what we're doing right now.
2 high priests of Amun-Ra came to America to bring new Ananka home to Egypt. Both of those priests have met a violent death in the attempt. And now you, Ragab, shall help me to succeed where they have failed.
And they f***ed it up. And what f***ed it up? Because one of them tried to get it in with another white girl, and it like caused problems. It's just like, even they're saying at this point that this storyline isn't f***ing working. And it's like, then why are you doing it? As if the audience is just like, oh, don't change a thing. It's just this, we can't get enough. The cultural zeitgeist can't get enough of tana leaves. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Sounds like you really liked this movie.
There's some merit to this, but
this one, merit. Let's just talk about merit real quick. Like, okay. I will say, going into it, with the exception of the song and the Swamp of the Money, I did like that it was like, okay, we're starting out with like just something that feels a little bit fresh, but it is odd for a mummy film. It's like, we're dealing with these guys that are digging out the swamp. And it does deal like the typical thing you would see in a horror film, even a more modern horror film, where it's like the thing that happened in the last movie is leading into the next movie. So it's like, like they're digging out the swamp. They're going to the planet where the alien eggs are, from the last film. Like, I do like that part of it.
That's the way it should be every time.
And then I also like that, and we talked about this last movie. It's like, I like that the priest, in the last one, it was like we had to start off with that. They're going to see George Zuko and talk to him. We don't see that in this movie, thank God. Yeah. And this time he just shows up and he's a little mysterious. We don't know why. Of course, we know why because we watched all these mummy films. I like that stuff. But then the movie just kind of gets dumb.
They do the same thing they did in Son of Dracula, where it was, hey, we have this cool twist where it turns out that this mysterious count guy ends up being the son of this infamous vampire, but they blow that right away. Remember, we're in the first scene, he's like, Alucard.
D-R-A-C.
Backwards, that's Dracula, and you're like, can't you take what you have and try to, I am starting to miss our boy. I am. I'm starting to miss our boy, Mikey G. Wiz. I want Mikey G. Wiz to be there to be like, no, you got to like do some twists and turns and some betrayals and backstabbings. Even though we talk so much about our boy, Mikey G. Wiz, they need him here because he at least knew how to do something different. And where here, the sin they're committing again that I'm getting at is that you have, instead of just having the priest come over and do his thing. Now the priest has this assistant guy, and the assistant guy is working for the company that is draining the swamp. But we blow that right away. It's like, because he's just there, and we don't know that he's working for the Fez priest guy who is also working with the Scripps Museum.
So like the Fez priest and the Scripps Museum guys.
My name is Halsey, Dr. James Halsey from the Scripps Museum. Oh, well. This is my colleague and associate, Dr. Ilzor Zandov. We've been sent to recover the mummies of Kharis and the Princess Ananka, believed to be buried in these swamps.
They know the mummy's body. They're like, we saw the reports. There's a mummy in the swamp. We want to dig it out and bring it back to the museum. And his motivation is like, I'm doing it for the museum. And his motivation, the Fez guy, is like, of course,
the Princess Ananka shall be lifted from her mortal state and sealed in this case shall be returned with you to Egypt, there to be embraced by the sands of the past.
This is our religion, essentially. We're bringing him back, all that stuff.
You have the scripts guy, you have the priest guy, and you have the assistant to the priest guy who is that's a secret that he's working for the priest.
We have Grape
All
Eyes.
we know,
his name is Grape Eyes, Mr. Grape Eyes. That's
Grape Eyes. All we know is that Grape Eyes is working for the swamp company.
Get those men back to work.
Ask him where Antoine is.
You think it's childish business. Everybody knows the place she is haunted. Antoine, he disappeared last night.
Maybe he went to Tante Bertie's cafe and got drunk.
No, he no go to Tante Bert. He stay on the job.
And that's an element in the screenwriting process. You have that, okay, this is a potential revelation. This is something that we're going to hide and reveal later, and we can use that to wow our audience. So what do? Nothing. They have him, instead, it's just like, hey, by the way, one of our guys is dead.
Master Walsh, something terrible done happened.
Well, what is it now, Goofy?
Antoine, they just find him dead.
What?
At the edge of the pit on the other side of the swamp.
These unnecessary accidents.
Oh, no, sir, he was killed.
What do you mean?
And the workmen, they're getting mighty scared, sir. They gonna quit.
So everybody descends upon the body, and they're putting it together, and it's like, okay, there's like a mummy wrapping here and a dead guy, so it's like somebody killed him, and maybe it was this mummy or whatever.
Hey, looks like the imprint of a man's body. A big man, too.
Not an ordinary man's body, Mr. Walsh. Unless I'm mistaken, a mummy was buried here until the bulldozer uncovered it.
The sin there is that you're telling all of this without showing it, where if it was leading up to a revelation, that would be great. That'd be great to watch as a movie, as an unfolding story.
Tis you, Ragab.
Yes, master.
But instead, any mystery, any lingering questions are answered in the very next scene.
The path leads right up the hill from the very swamp edge.
But the mummy cases, where are they?
Safely hidden in the monastery.
You couldn't have carried them up alone.
No, I've had help.
You've been told to work secretly.
Those who helped will not talk.
I trust you silenced them less noticeably than you did Antoine?
With Antoine, I had to act quickly, master.
So that being the case, I would rather watch the scene where the workers are working and the bulldozer uncovers Kharis and one of the guys sees it. Maybe Kharis gets up, and then that's when the assistant to the priest guy kills the guy, and then it's like, oh, why'd he kill the guy? You know, the audience is asking questions, what's going on? And then that's where he's just like, Kharis, come with me, and he takes Kharis to their hideout place, and then they meet up with the priest or whatever. And then, you know what I'm saying? You reveal this information to the audience. Instead, we don't get to watch the interesting scene where the mummy comes back to life. Instead, we're just seeing the aftermath, and then right after that, the assistant guy goes and meets up with the priest, and then the priest is like, did you bring our boxes up? He's like, yeah, I had help. You were told to do it in secret. Oh, and it's like we're being told about what had happened before, but that would have been more interesting to watch. Everything that we're being told about would be more interesting to watch. Why aren't we watching that? Because nobody cares about this movie, and they're trying to cut corners and do it as cheaply as possible. It's just like, nobody gives a shit, so why should I give a shit? It's frustrating. I'm just over this. Yeah. I'm over these mummy movies. They also almost imply that assistant guy is working for the swamp draining company to like stir up trouble. Like in the beginning, he's standing with all the workers, and the head worker is like telling the contractor or whatever, they're like, the swamp is haunted and you're not taking that seriously. And the worker guy's like, get back to work. And then the assistant to the priest guy's going, Grape Eyes is going, yeah, and tell him this, tell him that, you know, as if it's like a Scooby-Doo thing where it's like they're stirring up, or like Live and Let Die, where they're stirring up the superstition. Why is he stirring up trouble? It's like he's being like some kind of, what do you call James Bond?
Provoker.
An agent provocateur, where he's just like, he's like, hey, you guys should strike. You're not being treated well. You should strike. You know what I mean? Like that's what it. Yeah. That's what I thought was happening.
But it's like, where is that going? Yeah, it's like, why is this in the plot to begin with?
Like, remember in Live and Let Die, where Kananga is stirring up superstition in that area to keep people away from his poppy fields?
Which is a Scooby-Doo thing.
It's a Scooby-Doo thing. It's like, why is this guy doing this? And then they're talking about this murder second-handedly, and then all of a sudden he meets up. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, the people who helped me are dead. Okay, did you murder the guy who found Kharis by stabbing him in the back? And then you also had some other people help you carry these boxes up, and then you killed them too, which they did, right? Because that guy comes into the monastery, and he's like,
guys like, there's bodies in the basement.
I am Michael,
self-ordained caretaker of this monastery.
Thought this place was abandoned.
This house of worship, though silent for many years, is not to be desecrated by such pagan customs. I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take these sacrilegious things away.
You shall remain only for the night.
You cannot stay here another hour. In a room beneath the chapel, I found the bodies of freshly murdered men.
This is a holy space. What are you doing?
So why aren't we seeing those scenes either? You know what I mean? Like all the interesting stuff we're just being told about. And so you're trying to keep up with this. And it's unfair because we're just being told
I will say,
all of it.
I think some of this
could
could be, we haven't really talked about this with these films as much as I think we should have been. But one of the big things that we should point out is like, we're definitely in a time in film where there was a censorship board essentially. And there still is to this day. We have the rating system. It's very different. But you're getting to a point where, especially with horror, like you can't see every death. Like we can't have these brutal murders. So a lot of times what happens is those things take place off screen or we hear it. But like even then it's like
I'm all about handling it in a classy way. I'm not talking about wanting to see gore.
Right.
I'm talking about a better visual story.
Right. But it's like, I'm wondering, like, you know, they see the script and they're like, oh yeah, you have this scene where this guy murders all these people. We can't have that in the movie. And it's like, well, how are you going to shoot it? It's like, well, we were going to have, like, no, you can't do that. We're going to change that. You can't have that in the scene. You have to imply that.
I'm with you 100%. I understand the inner workings.
I'm just wondering, maybe that's why we're not getting this. But at the same time, I'm like, there's a more creative way that would have worked for what we would have liked to have seen.
Okay, then at least let's see the two guys, or the guys helping him. Let's see them carrying the boxes, being like, what are in these boxes? You know, cut to the shadows.
Mummy comes out, and then
the mummy comes out, or he pulls a knife out and then cuts. Like, but let's see it so that we can have a visual story that we're following and that's unfolding, rather than just being info dumped on us out of convenience.
There is one, the undead, who, if brought back to life, is bound by sacred law to consummate this curse.
Well, let's make sure we don't bring anyone back from the dead then, huh?
He will kill all who open this chest and assimilate their organs and fluids. And in so doing, he will regenerate and no longer be the undead.
For any given movie to work, it has to have a logical framework upon which the emotionality of the story is to play out, aka rules and visualization.
The curse! Beware of the curse! Beware!
Stupid, superstitious bastard.
Again, for an unfair comparison, we turn to the greatest mummy film ever made, the 1999 Mummy, where the rules are set and then followed in a way the audience appreciates and understands effortlessly.
It does exist. The Book of the Dead.
A book? Who cares about a book? Where the hell's the treasure?
Imatipin sumpike sitsue yatue yatue yatue.
No! You must not read from the book!
Our adventurers unknowingly resurrect the high priest Imhotep, who then needs to absorb the life energy of the men that opened the case that held his organs.
You know how he gets himself fully regenerated? By killing everyone who opened that chest. And sucking them dry, that's how!
The black book that the Americans found at Amun-Ra is supposed to bring people back from the dead. Until now, it was a notion I was unwilling to believe.
Believe it, sister. That's what brought our buddy back to life.
Yes, and I'm thinking that if the black book can bring dead people to life, then
maybe the gold book can kill him.
At that point, he's fully regenerated, and our heroes have to return to his burial site to read from the Book of Amun-Ra in order to strip him of his immortality so they can kill him.
He's mortal.
Even though it's all fantastical Egyptian spirituality stuff, it's still based on rules and a visualized plot built on top of those rules. There are no rules in these crappy mummy movies from the 30s and 40s, and it makes them forgettable gobbledygook.
It's all stuff and nonsense.
The movie opens strange enough because we open with a musical number. But then on top of that, we have people
like a half-assed musical number.
Yeah.
Hey, you! Till we meet again at the Place Madeleine on the Rue de Lorraine. We two. And if you care for me and be my sweet cherry, yoo-hoo, I'd go for you.
Hey, you! And it feels like you're starting the movie, you're like, wait, did I put the right movie in? Is this supposed to be The Mummy? This feels like it's supposed to be some Germanic or some like French music number, and I thought
We're
we'd
back
be
in
like
Frankenstein.
Like, yeah, it's like this is Frankenstein's. No, this is the Mummy, really? And then we get people in different accents running around being like, yeah, the mummy haunts the swamp, and you're like, what is this movie? Like,
there was a Cajun takeover of the region somehow.
Yeah, the work in the swamp, she is finished now.
What for you say that?
Because nobody is so crazy to work there, and you know why.
No, Achilles, you tell me why.
On the night when the moon is so high in the heaven, the mummy and his princess, they walk.
Crazy foolish!
Antoine, where he is, huh?
Maybe the mummy got him.
The loup-garou, they don't want no more digging in the swamp. I go back pick moss, but I don't work in the swamp, never.
Me neither. I don't go to the place.
Achilles right.
This place, she's a haunt.
Oh, wait, stop. You listen to me. I know better from all of you. I be pearl fishing this place for over 30 years. Long ago, there was a mummy, like you say, and he take a girl in the swamp. But that was 25 years past.
And like
over 30
because the last
years.
movie is in like America. Like it is just straight up white blood America. We're at some college. That's what I remember of it. We're not in some foreign country. The beginning of this movie makes it seem like we're in some other country in Europe.
Yeah, totally.
Instead of being in America. It's just very odd.
Yeah, I was like, wait, are we in France? Are we in
Canada?
Like I could we're
sort of
like
buy
in New
that.
Orleans or something now?
Yeah, like I don't even remember if
this
that was the
opening
case.
would have made sense for Son of Dracula, where we seem to almost be in this like bayou type of place.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, where you might have plantations and Cajuns.
It feels like for some reason, like during the war, like into the war, they were really into the swamp story. Like they really wanted swamps in all their movies. Like, yeah, swamps are scary now. Let's put swamps in the movie. We got to be. It's got to be in a swamp. Son of Dracula.
If only there could be some
swamp.
kind of creature in this kind of swampy type of place. Maybe we could come up with our own creature type of monster thing.
Yes, stupid.
And, then that guy's like, F you guys, I'm going to go off and write something. The creature from the dark swamp, the creature from the, I don't know, I'll work on it.
I'm working on it. But yeah, that's really where this movie's like.
In 10 years, I'm going to, you all see? In 10 years, I'll be back with my own property.
Screw you. No, okay, so yeah, we got the swamp bit, but then the movie gets really kind of like, really loosey-goosey, because it's like, we're continuation of the last movie. And then it's like, let's bring back Princess Ananka, which is also weird, doesn't quite 100% make sense.
We
I
need a
don't
hot
remember
chick.
the point when she came in. Well, we had the hot chick secretary too.
Now
This
we have
movie,
two hot
chicks.
Yeah.
What's better than one hot chick? Two hot chicks.
To your point, Ananka turned into a mummy in the last movie before sinking into the swamp.
Right.
So again, I bring out the cigar chomping executive who says, wait a second, the mummy chick from the last movie's gonna come back and still be a mummy? Is she a fuckable mummy? They're like, no, sir, she's gross. He's like, that. No, she's gotta be fuckable. Have a wash off the mud and she's hot again. Like that's the mentality, is that you can't have the princess look like Kharis. She's got to be hot.
Yeah.
But sir, that makes no sense. So again, she's not just reincarnated now. She's resurrected reincarnation. There's an implication, though, with the princess that sunlight is the thing giving her life.
I hope you do not mind my working out here. I love the sun.
Okay, so Ra, as in Amun-Ra, which was like an amalgamation of two gods. Ra was the sun god. So, I mean, I guess that's cool. It's never, we're never told that. I guess we don't need to be. She's just like, the sun is so great. But that type of stuff, like get away from the tana stuff and just have it be something as simple as the sun or whatever. But there isn't a lot of creativity going into these movies, and that's what's bugging me the most. And that's where I'm just so cynical that it's the cigar chomping bullshit artist who's driving this.
Yeah, and she doesn't remember anything, and nobody remembers her from the last movie, because apparently this movie's supposed to take place 25 years after.
Yes.
Whatever the last movie was. The last movie was supposed to take place like several years after the one prior to it. So then like technically this movie was supposed to take place in 1997, I guess, which makes no sense.
You and I have talked a lot about how horror movies need rules, because otherwise everything just becomes abstract bullshit.
Yeah.
Like just, we can do anything we want because there's no rules. And then it's not interesting. Once you lock it into a logical framework, then you can manipulate plot elements within that framework that makes the audience go, ooh, ah, this might happen next or that might happen, and then an unexpected thing happens, but it's within the rules, so it all makes logical sense, so we can follow it and enjoy it. Here, it's just more gobbledygook all the time. Like, what does Tana fluid do? Recap, as if we need that.
3 leaves to keep his heart beating.
Once each night, during the cycle of the full moon.
And 9 leaves each night to give life and movement.
9 leaves each night.
So Kharis hasn't had Tana fluid for 25 years. Somehow he's still alive. I'm not going to push on that too hard because every single one of these movies just brings back the monster for no reason, whatever. But then Ananka is alive without any Tana fluid. But then also, if you give her Tana fluid, like every one of these priests tries to give some white girl Tana fluid, and it's supposed to make them immortal.
So beautiful, I'm going to make you immortal.
After I have given you the Tana fluid, you will be immortal.
I'm going to make you immortal.
But then here, it's like she's already immortal, even though she hasn't had any Tana fluid. She's somehow alive at the bottom of the swamp. 30 years later, she comes crawling out, and then she's hot again.
I cannot remember who I am or what I'm doing here.
But then at the end of the movie, the priest gives her Tana fluid, and then that turns her back into a mummy. Nothing is consistent. Nothing makes any sense. I can't follow any of it.
The only thing outside of the Tana leaves that I actually appreciated, because the last movie was like, he's so hopped up on Tana leaves that like that's the thing that draws him to murder people. At least this movie does something where it's like, okay, he's after her. She's kind of the driving thing to get him to go from place to place. Yep. And then so every scene where she's at, she's just like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I don't know who I am. And everyone's like, oh, let me take care of you, dear. Little do they know the mummy is out finding her. And then every time he finds her, she so happens to be with somebody else. And then he murders that person. So it's
and
like,
I do like that.
I do like that part.
Yes,
and I do think the
what
kills
this should
in
have
this
been
movie,
from the get-go.
Yes. I do like that part of the movie. I think that part's good. This one, again, this one's a little, there's stuff I do really like about this movie.
The devil's on the loose and he's dancing with the mummy. The mummy's on the loose and he's dancing with the devil.
But it also doesn't make sense. There's one thing I do think is funny is that in this film, when she's talking to the doctor, she's like, the doctor's trying to get an answer out of her. And she says,
how do you know about this cloth and about Kharis?
I do not know how. There's really no way to explain.
This is the most meta thing of this movie. It's too hard to explain why she's back. What the heck are these Tana leaves? Because it's very, this movie is convoluted, especially if you take into fact of these other films, which this movie is referencing all these other movies. It's like, this is a very convoluted thing to get here in a swamp with a mummy.
If you're going to do the same crap again, where we're going to recap the first couple movies or whatever, just to give people context, just throw it all out. Just give up. Throw it all out and just come up with a fresh story. But they do this, they even pull the same sin where how many times have you and I talked about this whole like frustrating tell don't show where a movie opens up and they're like this really interesting thing happened and it's not always bad. Like I don't want to come across as there's like steadfast rules that can never be broken.
Sometimes it's just faster to just say it, but other times it's like we kind of, that cool scene that you talked about of them digging the mummy up would have been cool to see here.
Exactly.
You know,
there is one line that I really appreciate that goes back to like different things I've said about just my philosophy on story. Early on, when they're in that office, the priest says,
truth will flourish in fantasy, only to wither and die in what you are pleased to call reality.
Which I give a big hell yes to. Like, how many times have I said, lie to me? Don't let a good story be ruined by the truth, you know?
If there's truth in the story that you are telling, like, it's truth like a philosophy truth, not necessarily if it actually happens.
Oftentimes you can find a higher truth in stories, just like the Dracula thing.
The strength of the vampire is that people will not believe in him.
I've laid out in several episodes by now that people have a tendency to toss fantastical stories aside as simple entertainment or make-believe, when the most valuable stories in any culture are the ones that help people to understand difficult concepts about human nature and the behavioral choices we all have to make. So men that physically turn into bats and eat people aren't real, but the spirit of the vampire is very real, manifesting as the selfishness of lustful promiscuity. Men that physically turn into wolves and kill people aren't real, but the spirit of the werewolf is very real, real, manifesting as the selfishness of murder. And so movies, video games, TV shows, social media's fixation with spreading horrible life advice, these are all stories seeping into your mind by way of the black box. And every single one of them is shaping our individual and collective psyche and the decisions we make in life and who we ultimately become. So stories are more important than anything. However, that all worked for the underlying meaning of movies like Dracula and The Wolfman, but these mummy movies don't have any of that. They're predominantly empty excuses to have a creepy-looking corpse guy kill people. That's why The Mummy's Hand is our favorite, because it doesn't care about any of that in the first place. It's just an adventure movie like what the 99 remake would recapture beautifully, but the rest of these are just meaningless tripe that are sloppily written, poorly visualized, and change the rules on a whim to suit the needs of a random scene or plot point.
Is your tripe tapped, Mrs. Lancaster? Not at all.
Well, hold on. You said that wrong. You should actually been like looking up in the sky when you said it.
That's a whole nother thing, too.
Open it. There you will find leaves of the ancient tana tree.
Hang on, I got it. Ready?
You ready? Do it.
Truth will flourish in fantasy, only to wither and die in reality.
Do you think he's reading cue cards?
I started to think, hang on, how often were other priests doing that? Were they always staring up at the ceiling? The guys in the past would pick their spots. This f***ing guy cannot deliver a single line without this stupid piety.
It's overworldly.
I hated it, dude. I don't think he's that bad as a priest.
No, I don't think he does anything
why is he
terrible.
always like stop annoying me with the like I'm a religious character, so I have to always be staring above the horizon at the heavens, you know? It's just like and then okay, while we're talking about Arkham priests, Arkham really needs to start castrating their priests and everybody associated with them. Like everybody.
Because Grape Eyes, man, that whole bit came out of nowhere. He was just like, all right, you come with me. I'll take you over here. And then all of a sudden he gets grapey. And I'm like, what's happening here?
This would have solved all of it. Right here. You ready for this? Ready for this?
I'm
blah,
so
blah,
ready.
blah, blah, blah. Thing about tana leaves. And this is why we cut our testicles off. You know, that would have fixed
Charlie. I think we should
plots.
just remake. Let's just remake the Mummy films. Like, let's make our own. We'll just rip off these movies, but we'll make our own version of it. But like, fix it and just make it really shoddy and dumb, but also like fix it. I don't know if you have any more things, but I will say this to wrap things up. The end of this movie.
Mummy joke. Hey. I don't feel like dying anymore.
To wrap this up, our scientist becomes, of course, he's like I'm the male hero of this story out of the blue, but he's no Steve Banning from the Mummy's Hand. He's just kind of like Kmart Steve Banning because he's wearing a piff hat and walking around and be like, I'm the doctor. I think it's called a piff, isn't it?
I have no idea, but it's like, we got to make this look like we're in Egypt again, so give him that hat that they wear on the dig sites.
He saves her from Grape Eyes.
Look out, Jim!
I love how Kharis is after Grape Eyes all of a sudden, and then everything falls on them, and then they die. And then, of course, archaeologist comes, saves the secretary girl, and then we wrap the whole movie up in like, he's like, well, it's like, that'll be the last I see of you, the guy who's running the swamp clearing contractor. And he's like, well, maybe not.
We'll put a crew of men to work digging Kharis out of the rubble, then send them both back to the Scripps Museum.
They ought to put you on display, too. Well, maybe you'll clear out of the swamps now and leave me alone so I can get a little work done.
Oh, I'll get out. But you haven't seen the last of me yet, Mr. Walsh. There's a certain secretary.
You're welcome to her. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Because I'm going to get it in with her. It's like he's implying that they're going to get engaged. And then it's just like, it happens so quickly.
Like he like puts his dick on her. Like he just like moves in on her. It's like, dude, that's still her uncle. Would you like chill?
It's like, it's like we're gonna be together now. It's not just so much like they're into each other, but it's like we are into each other. We're gonna get married because like that's kind of what he's implying. And it's like, when did you guys have time to talk about this?
They were like cute on each other a little bit,
kind of, but not in the way that we'd seen earlier in some of these other movies where it's like,
I wish you'd give all this up and come back to the States with us.
Well, I can't promise you that, but I will be back sometime.
Do you mind if I say I think you're a swell person?
There's like a back and forth with the girl, you know, like there's some contention there. There's something there where you're like, okay, I could see a relationship starting here.
Yeah.
This is like, they hardly had any screen time together prior to this scene.
Thanks for helping us out, but you shouldn't talk back to your boss like that. You're liable to get fired.
You mustn't mind Uncle Pat.
Oh, your uncle?
He isn't nearly as unpleasant as he appears to be.
I thought sure we were going to hit her.
I wonder what's happened to her and what she's doing here.
Yes, look at the way she's dressed. What strange clothes to be wearing out in the swamp at this hour of the night. She doesn't seem to be injured in any way. Let's take her back to camp and have Dr. Cooper take a look at her. You better sit back with her.
Thanks for trying anyway.
And then all of a sudden he comes to save her, and then she's like, we're getting married. But the whole thing felt like let's wrap it up. It's got to be under an hour, this one. So you're like, okay, why?
It's just,
and then they end the movie.
It's tired. It's so tired.
It's like, all right,
the
wrap
whole
it up.
thing is so tired. We almost had a movie last time that didn't need a priest at all because there was a scientist brewing tana leaves. We had that guy trying to crack the code on the tana leaves. And so that would have been a great excuse to not have a priest. And so we would have had a break. You know what I'm saying? Like the scientist is running experiments. He's trying to solve the mystery of the tana leaves. He brews the tana leaves. And so that brings back... The princess coming out of the ground in this movie is exactly what we needed last time for Kharis. We talked about that. But instead, he just stumbles out of the woods. And so my point being, the last movie had an excuse to not have the priest, but instead to second-handedly, inadvertently, accidentally resurrect Kharis by just having a scientist tinkering with the leaves, cracking 9 during the moon, and starts brewing the tana leaves, and then that brings Michael Myers back to life, essentially. Or Jason Voorhees, where, it's like he dies at the end of every movie, but then they do something in the next movie where, he was chained to the bottom of a lake. Something happens that unearths him. So you had that excuse last time, but then they did the same crap. And then here once again, we have a priest doing the same crap. Once again, there's no explanation as to how the mummy is surviving without tana fluid, which is why I hate the tana fluid thing. Just get rid of it and just have it be a curse. This is called the mummy's curse. That would have saved a lot of trouble throughout this whole film series, and now we're at the movie called The Mummy's Curse, and it's still the stupid tana leaves.
Drink from the brew of the 9 tana leaves.
Where would you put this movie? Because I think it is definitely in the below the mummy realm for me. Like I'm like, yeah, it definitely is getting buried under mountains of better pieces of sand, of old movies that are sand. Just
nice. That's good. That's a good try.
It's a good try.
Judges, you give that a 2.8.
Slow. Okay.
They gave you a 2.8. Judges gave you a 2.8.
I'll take it
on that line.
Take it. Whatever. Anyway, I think
they're generous. They're generous tonight. Thank you, judges.
Thank you. I think going into this one, I was like, it's above or below the Mummy's Ghost. But if you want to tell me it's lower than that, I'm ears. But I'm like, it's in that Son of Dracula, Mummy's Ghost realm for me. So I'm like,
yeah.
Because there's stuff I like
agree.
A little bit more than the Mummy's Ghost.
What I worry about is that it's like watching the same rerun over and over, and I don't necessarily want to punish it.
You don't want to punish it for trying to do the same thing over again, but whatever it does it's like, and like there are things I think this movie does better.
But it's still a mummy movie.
It breaks the formula a little bit because it's not the whole like priest gets the mummy for arbitrary reasons, but we're never quite sure what his motivation or what his end goal is. Gets a little fresh with the girl, and then everybody dies. Like that's been the
okay. There's like
kind of what's been happening for all of these movies.
Like Cajun Joe's killing of all the mummy killings, it's my favorite. It's the one where he gives them both barrels.
Oh, with the shotgun and everything.
Because all the other ones are people mostly just being scared out of their wits, and they kind of freeze up, and then that's how he gets strangled. Which would happen if a 3,000-year-old crusty bastard was coming at you. You'd be a little scared.
Right.
The performance of Cajun Joe and the way it's shot, how he gives them both barrels, and then he kind of like half-assedly tries to turn it into a blunt object to start hitting back, but he like can't even do it because he's so terrified. And then it cuts to the reverse angle as he turns around and the mummy strangles him, and then he lowers out a frame into that close-up of Kharis. It's handled so well that was like, I was like, oh, that's competent. Like most of these other deaths are just kind of, you got drunk ass Lon Chaney Jr. Remember a kill in the last movie in the museum? He like had a guy by like the side of the throat. It's sloppy. It's usually sloppy. This one was done in a way that I was like, that was good and believable. Like I believed Cajun Joe,
The kills in this movie, I think, were better overall than some of the ones we've seen in the past.
And when have we said that about any of these movies? Like, oh yeah, it's like we're doing a slasher series, and it's like the kills were great. They were so bloody and gory. No, it's a performance here. And another thing I appreciated was the callback to the Galadriel mirror, from the very first movie that they've brought back several times.
Oh yeah, where it's
here
like
the way they did it was they did that push into the Tana fluid cup that had the smoke, so then they cut to the smoke of the mirror. Speaking of Lon Chaney Jr., I love how his arm doesn't work, until he needs to pick a woman up, and then it works fine.
Yeah.
Just like, whatever.
He's like, well, what am I supposed to do? My arm's is not supposed to work. And he's like,
you're drunk.
Like,
I'm
no,
not
no, no.
drunk.
So
I'm just in character.
I'm character. The mummy's arms, this arm works, this one doesn't work. And he's like, Chaney, I don't give a just pick her up.
Just pick her up.
That doesn't make
I am
sense.
method. Do you understand what method means? That means I mix cocaine with booze.
Stoned. I'm
Dude,
on
Tana
leaves right now.
Tana leaves just, everybody knows Tana leaves is just a mixture of vodka and cocaine, okay? Where's my vodka and cocaine? Where's my Tana juice? Where's my Tana juice? Where's my f***ing Tana juice?
Let me get some of that.
Dad! Where's my f***ing Tana juice?
That's the stuff. That, they should have made me the Phantom of the Opera. It's harder than the best. But they didn't want me to be the Phantom of the Opera. I had to play all these stupid monsters because Boris is full of himself. You Boris.
Dude, when they cast you as Son of Dracula, you f***ed it up and you know it. So quit acting like you're so versatile.
Shut up. Shut up. I lost my dad, okay?
Remember at the end of we talked
Chaney's
about
not even my real name.
We talked about whenever we finished Bond, we were gonna throw a Bond party with like caviar and Bollinger champagne.
Oh,
and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
When we're done with this, we should drink vodka with cocaine in it. What do you think? And just see what happens. Just see what happens.
Candy corn. Yeah, let's like chomp up some candy corns with that. Why don't we do that
Yeah.
as well? Like a nice little Halloween party.
It's hard to have felt like I've watched the same movie 5 times and then
they're
try
all
to rank this.
all those movies are all in the same. Well, okay, let's go through the list, right? Okay, so The Mummy's Tomb was just very lazy
Skip.
execution.
Yeah, just
like
skip.
Like, we know it's the worst one. We're not even going to talk more about it.
Yeah.
Ghost of Frankenstein has a little bit more merit. It's just got a really dumb plot and really feels like it just shits the bed with all the characters that we enjoyed and liked, and takes the thing that was great in Son of Frankenstein, everything that was great in that movie, and just is dumb. And then the brain stuff just like
lazy and unmotivated
fine, but
plot.
it's just like it's like really like, oh, but you're gonna go in this brain, and it's just stupid.
Yeah.
Son of Dracula, just like, you don't cuck Dracula. Dracula cucks you.
Yeah. A total misunderstanding of the character and a miscast of the character and blah, blah, blah.
And then The Mummy's Ghost is where I'm like, I forgot that we watched, like, that's where I'm with you, where I'm like, wait, The Mummy's Ghost, what's different about this? Oh yeah, the mummy wins. The mummy wins in that one, right? Maybe that's where I'm at now. Maybe this one's right under that. Because part of me was like, maybe it's better. But in some ways, I'm like, kind of like the way that movie ended a little bit better. It's just such a shock ending.
I love that ending.
I mean, it does the mortal sin of just like the same recap of Mummy's Tomb, which we hated.
Returning to the tomb of his beloved to restore her once again to mortal state.
The filler crap.
But it's not as, I don't know, it is filler crap, but I don't think they did the recap where it's like we saw all the recapping of everything.
It did the same thing that they did before, where when they did the recap the first time. Well, hang on, God, these movies. And
there's two recaps, right?
Confuse you because the titles are so bad.
Yeah, okay, so there's the Tana Leaves recap of like explaining the Tana Leaves. That's something separate. And then you have the recap of the history of Kharis and the Princess Ananka. This movie takes the recap of the Tana Leaves and doesn't have George Zuko doing that.
Yeah.
And then we also, on top of that, get we're going to replay stuff from Mummy's Hand and The Mummy. So that's what this movie does. The last movie didn't do that. The last movie, we don't see any of the recap from the Mummy or The Mummy's Hand. So in that regards, it's like, the Ghost, Ghost has a little bit of a a leg up on Curse on that front right there.
And
That's where I'm at.
I can dig that. It's again.
Would you put it above Mummy's Ghost? Would you do that? Because there's parts of me that I'm like, I could see certain aspects of it they do better. But then again,
let's put it this way.
Princess Ananka's thing is all over the place.
Let's ceiling it. I can't put this above the original Mummy.
No, I can't either.
I can't. The only reason the Mummy's hand is higher than the original Mummy is the fun factor. And it was, everything was still
It's so much
fresh.
fun, and we loved the Tana Leaves thing. It was so funny, and it's such a B movie.
Now it's that guy who just won't stop telling. It's like you told the joke. You did the whole magical 3 things. You told the joke once, it was funny. You did it again, it was funny. You did it the 3rd time, and everybody loves it. But you keep telling the joke. It's done now. It's done. Like, I'm not sitting here talking about how dry the movie is, because we've done that joke. Yeah. No more, you don't get any more callbacks. And they just keep pushing the f***ing Tana Leaves. And so I can't put it above the original Mummy that was still fresh, it's dry.
I give
that movie's dry,
yet
I'm saying it's fresh. That's how upset I am.
Yeah. So the Mummy's Ghost is where I'm like, I give the Mummy's Ghost a couple
above or below Mummy's Ghost.
I think the ending of the Mummy's Ghost is pretty great.
Yeah.
I think it gives merit for the fact it's like the retread. Like, we have to redo what Tomb sucked at, so let's like redo it, but like do it a little bit better. And for the most part, with one exception, they do a better job in that movie than they did with Tomb. But for most of it, it's like, let's do the same movie, but like, let's fix the problems. And they kind of fix a lot of it. So it's almost like if you didn't do Tomb, you'd be fine, even though they are connected story-wise.
Remember, okay, you mentioned, and I totally agree with you, that the kills are better executed in Mummy's Taint. What are we on? What are we talking about right now?
Curse.
The Mummy's Curse. The kills are better in Curse.
Right, they are.
But remember everything we talked about with how Kharis in general seemed more like a character with some kind of motivation?
By thy will, her soul has entered another form.
In Ghost, I have to keep looking at the titles, because it's like all the titles have
You're
that
right.
Star Wars thing to them, where it's like, shouldn't this one be called
Phantom?
New Hope? And shouldn't that one be called
Attack of the Clones? That would be.
Shouldn't they all? The titles are off, and then Carradine isn't always staring at the f***ing ceiling like an asshole.
Yeah,
that weighs in heavy. Clearly,
Right, for you.
He looks down quite often. But he only, to be real though,
I don't like my actors looking up. All my actors have to either look straight at the camera, you look at your other actor, or you look down. Nobody looks up.
Nobody looks up. What's wrong with you? Anyway,
get out of here.
He like, and then just the whole scene in the museum with the reuniting of Kharis and the princess, and then that leading to her resurrected form, kind of coming back. There's so much more interesting stuff going on.
I'm typing now. I am putting it in now because it's the truth. It is below the Mummy's Ghost, but it's above Son of Dracula. I would put it above Son of Dracula. Would you put it below Son of Dracula? Do you think Son of Dracula is a little more complete, like a little more competent and like the story, even though it's kind of dumb?
If there's any case to be made that Son of Dracula is better, I'd love to put it
with the
there.
Son of Dracula. I think we were just more annoyed of that movie overall, because we were just like, what the heck is going on? And we knew that it was some weird plot where it's like she's doing this backhanded thing with like.
Do you mean you deliberately planned this? You married him so you could become a.
So you and I could attain immortality. Yes.
There's a part of me that likes that plot a little bit more than here, because this one is like she's running around. The Mummy's killing people because she's running around, but why is she back? We don't really understand that. Where it's like Son of Dracula narratively is a little more fleshed out. Like it's just it's as dumb as it is. It's a little more like I can understand. Like it's a weird love triangle thing going on. This guy's basically being cucked by his girlfriend or just becoming a simp for his girlfriend. It's a weird love triangle thing, and yes, the Dracula doesn't have as much agency in that. And also, like even in there, it's like the effects and stuff are better in that movie. Like they put a little more effort in that movie. I think that's where I'd put Son of Dracula above this movie.
Yeah, let's circle back then just to cover off on the Ghost of Frankenstein. The problem with all these mummy movies is that when you just keep giving me the same thing, I start to resent you. Whereas like Son of Dracula, I think I'm right there with you where Son of Dracula is at least it's trying to do something. Whereas this movie is just doing the same thing again and committing the old sins again.
Yeah.
And like I just said, with the mummy's ghost, there's a little sympathy attached to Kharis and something interesting going on with reincarnating Ananka and stuff like that. Something fresh is happening. And then here in Mummy's Ghost, Mummy's Curse.
No, Mummy's Curse.
In Mummy's Curse
is the one we're on.
What new thing are you giving me? A swamp? I've complained over and over that you have this idea that just doesn't make the Mummy movies work for me at all from the get-go, which is that your whole idea, idiots doing tana leaves in Hollywood and writing this, is that these priests keep this mummy alive for thousands of years just so when they need to, they can give him some tana fluid and he'll go kill people who broke into Ananka's tomb, as opposed to just getting some guns and going and doing it yourself. Like hire 10 guys to just go kill whoever you need. Oh no, it's because the mummy is impervious to bullets, but he moves really slow. He only has one hand. He's completely ineffective most of the time unless the script calls for it. It doesn't make any logical sense. Right. Oh, they were listening to me, McCurdy, because now he has an assistant who kills people for him. This priest brought an assistant with him to kill people for him, so he doesn't have to do it himself. And the guy does start to kill people in the beginning of the movie off camera, but then once they have Kharis, then they just have Kharis going around trying to
But I
kill
will
people
say this,
now.
the reason
and
Kharis is killing people isn't because he is sent to kill people, it's more like he is sent to go
looking for the princess.
her, and then every time somebody gets in his way to get the princess, that person gets killed. So it's like, it's a little more motivated there in that regards. It's not just like, tana leaves start burning and I'm like, I'm coked up on the tana leaves, you know.
But all the same, why are they sending the mummy out? If their mission is to take these two people, these two mummies back to Egypt with them, so you're going to send the one, it's like, okay, McCurdy, you and I are going to go on this mission, right? And there have been several attempts made before and they've all failed, okay?
Right.
Usually because somebody gets a boner for a white girl. But ignoring that, because we cut our balls off, right? We cut our balls off. Because we're dedicated. We're so dedicated. Right? I removed my balls. You did too, right? I'm not looking at you because I'm like, I can't, you have to tell me. I can't look, you can't just nod because I'm looking at the ceiling.
I'm drunk.
Okay, you're drunk. Did you cut your balls off like you said? So then we have one of the bodies. Now we just have to go get the other one.
Kharis. What is this Kharis? Maybe that's your name? Come on, I bring you to Tante Beth. She fix you up, all right.
So Grape Eyes finds her in the woods with Cajun Joe, and she's saying, Kharis, so he knows that she's probably the Princess Ananka they're looking for. And instead of stabbing Cajun Joe in the back and taking her back to base with him, he goes back to base and they just send out Kharis.
Ragab has seen your bride, Princess Ananka, taken away. Now, you shall go to take her. You know your destination.
Everything's a mess and sloppy and nobody cares, to the point where I'm like, what is this movie doing that's fresh? It has an assistant guy, but then he kills some people in the beginning and then he doesn't do anything but try to grape somebody at some point. Like, it's just not using the tools that it has. And so that's where I'm just like, I could push this further and further to the bottom. I think below Son of Dracula would work.
Yeah, the more you're talking about that, the more I'm like, okay. Because with Ghost of Frankenstein, I'm like, it does the thing where it's like, we're doing really bad recap, but also it's not recap. It's just, it spits in the face of what Son of Frankenstein was. Like, it just does a really horrible job of like reintroducing all that stuff, and it's kind of dumb. But at least the narrative's like there. As much as I don't like it for it's just kind of shitting on the last film, I think I could see it below that one. I don't think it's below Mummy's Tomb. I think Mummy's Tomb is just really, really lazy. Like, it just does not care. Where it just, and not even, we're not even talking about the script. We're really just talking about like the making of that movie is just like let's have a scene where somebody talks about the movie prior for a good chunk of the movie for no reason, for the kiddies to get the recap, which they don't really need. So I could see it next. I could see it below Ghost of Frankenstein. The more you say it,
I will always have this affection for Frankenstein. It's always going to be more of what I'm looking for in this list versus this dumbass mummy stumbling around with no interesting characters, and anything that could be interesting is unseen. And it's just, yeah, I'm.
Let's lock that in.
Lock
that in.
I'm good to lock it in. I'm so glad this is the last of this specific Mummy series, because as much as you and I were like, The Mummy's Hand is fun, it's just been the same crap, and it's like not even fun anymore. It's just not even fucking fun anymore with the Mummy. I'm not talking about the series, but with these stupid Mummy movies. All right, so what are we? The Mummy's Curse. I have to keep checking. So
22.
You Mummy movies. The Mummy's Curse locking in at number 22, below The Ghost of Frankenstein, above The Mummy's Tomb. Out of 23 movies so far, the highest a Mummy movie has hit is 15.
Yeah.
They're all there at the bottom.
Because they sink below the sand. They're buried. They're buried below the sand.
Bury them deep below the sand.
And then unbury them and move them over there.
Yeah. Bury them. And then immediately unbury them and bring them somewhere else, because we couldn't figure out how to fix that detail. I can't believe they used that recap again. It wasn't even logical the first time, and they only did it to save a couple bucks reusing footage from The Mummy, and then they had to stick with it for 3 more films. We took him to a secret place and buried him, and then killed the people who buried him, and then just to keep it really secret, even though we already killed those people, we unburied him and took him elsewhere. like you're really,
no one's gonna know.
You're really. It's like one of those cop movies where someone's trying to throw a tail. You know, where it's like you do this and do that, and then you'll throw the tail off, right? But instead, you just kill yourself. like you just blow yourself up. That's the logic of these movies. So anyway, who you got to toast? I have only one person in mind.
That's my. I don't care. Who do you want to toast to?
Just Princess Ananka. That's all I have.
Virginia Christine.
She's the only person of interest.
She does seem to give a lot more to this movie. Like she's really, you can tell she's trying.
If that was her under the mud, she had to be covered in mud and walk around like a dummy.
And she has to act and she has some decent scenes. So yeah, I'd give it to Virginia Christine.
She's the one that said she was terrified of Lonnie, right? Which is hilarious.
And then in the 60s and 70s, she was the Folgers coffee woman. So she went on to do other things after this film.
Good for her.
Yeah, so great. I'm so happy for you. To Virginia Christine.
Kind of short-lived, I guess, in this series. I have no idea if she's coming back.
I don't know if she comes back. I don't know, but I think we're getting to a point. I was reading about the next movie, but they're getting to a point where basically, because of World War II ended, everybody doesn't want to watch horror films. They want to watch musicals and comedies and fun movies.
Yeah.
So the things are changing, because it's like, yeah, we did the war thing. Like, horror happened. I have horror coming home. People are amputated. I don't want to be reminded of that. So can we do something fun? Which I think that's where we're going as we're getting closer to the end of this. But
and that's why we're about to meet some fellas who are going to inject some comedy into this.
They're going to change things.
Miss Virginia Christine, you seem dedicated to this, and she's got a real nice smile. She seemed dedicated to this in a way that nobody else was, and she had to put up with Lonnie,
Lonnie,
being drunk and carrying her around and probably smelling like booze and all that. So, all right, to Virginia.
To Virginia Christine.
For rolling around in the mud. You done good, girl.
You did it.
Happy Halloween to you, Missy.
Happy Halloween.
Drinking Folgers? Good.
Yeah, man.
Just gonna lose it. Nine? I don't even know what that means.
You don't even know what that means.
Good to cut?
Woo! All right, I'm going to cut mine.
If you destroy me,
The seeker of the tana leaves will die.
Good, we're done with these fucking mummy movies.
Oh, I hate mummies.